Hey guys, welcome in. This week's edition of Come Cook with Joe, we are making chicken gnocchi soup. So gnocchi is a noodle made from potatoes, and during the night we will be discussing on how you can actually make those at the house. You probably went out to the store and purchased yours, which is fine. But future, you guys can actually start making some gnocchi noodles at your own house. And again, it's going to be real easy, so we'll discuss that in a little bit. So tonight we've got our celery, we've got our onion, which I'm going to use half that onion because it's a pretty big onion. We've got our 4 carrot sticks, we've got our shallot, which is in the onion family. We have our chicken, we have our gnocchi, we have baby spinach, and then over here on the countertop for our spices, we've got some minced garlic, we've got some thyme, Italian seasoning, we've got salt and pepper. We have a box of chicken broth. I'm using smoked paprika tonight. I know the recipe called for paprika. I'm just going to use the smoked paprika, bring out a little bit more flavor. I've got 2 cups of milk. I've got a 1/4 cup of flour. And then I've got about 2 tablespoons of butter here. We're going to need a whisk, a heavy pot. Well, I'm using my gumbo pot tonight and my gumbo spoon. So that's going to be good stuff. You're going to need a chef's knife. And then I also brought a peeler in order to peel up the carrots. So all in all, that's about it. So it's going to be an easy night for us. So it's going to be pretty fun. So let's go ahead and jump in. First thing we want to get taken care of, though, is go ahead and get our vegetables prepped so that we can get them cooking. So whenever we do our vegetables, our celery, we're going to come in and cut off the top and the bottom. And, of course, I've got my trash bag. The bass is letting out. I can hear him play Reverie. With your celery stalk, just go straight up the middle. And we're going to thin out these slices. Yeah. So I hope everyone's had a good week so far this week. We're coming to a close, of course, a Thursday. And for all of my friends that I work with, it is our Friday before intercession, which is going to be fun. I mean, obviously tomorrow is Friday before intercession, but nevertheless, today's Thursday. It's Friday Eve. So tomorrow is Friday before our 2-week intercession. So that'll be nice. Who? Oh, hi, George. Welcome in. So, George is going to be returning back to work with me tomorrow. I've been by myself in that little office for a long time now. So that'll be nice. So, all right. We've got our celery diced up. I'm going to go ahead and string out our carrots. As long as Riley doesn't come over here like a vulture, as he usually does. So gnocchi is very easy. Like I said, if you wanted to do it at home and make your own, it's very simple to do. I do it with my guys at work, and they really enjoy it. I'm surprised about how easy it is to make those noodles. So the first thing you want to do, the ratio on that is 1, 1, and 1.
Barcy wants to know if he can come get dinner.
Do what?
Michael Barcy wants to know if he can come and get dinner.
Oh, we're here, bud. Come on over. Michael Barcy said he was wanting to know if he could come get dinner, so I was responding to that one. So, but with your gnocchi, basically what you want to do is you want to have 1 potato, 1 cup flour, and 1 egg. And so what you're going to do with that is you're going to leave your potato in the skin, and you're going to boil that until it's tender. And then once it's tender, you will remove it from the water. And once you remove it from the water, then you can wait until it cools off a little bit, and then you're going to peel it. Once you peel it, go ahead and dice it up and throw it into a stand mixer. And mix it in with your 1 cup flour and 1 egg. And it should make a dough. And then what you're going to do is you're going to roll that dough out in your hands like Play-Doh whenever we was making a snake. And then you can take that and cut it into smaller pieces. And then boil that like what we're going to do tonight. And you've got gnocchi. So very simple. So we'll go ahead and get these carrots done, and then we'll take care of our shallot. I almost lost my shallot. It was starting to go bad on me, so I cut off some of the rougher spots. So here is our carrots dressed. I'll come over here and rinse this off a little bit. Okay. Now let's do our shallots first. So the shallot, basically what you're going to do is you're going to come in, you're going to cut off the ends. Like I said, I was about to lose mine, so I had to cut off some of the bad parts. But cut the end off and the tip, and then basically what you have to do, there should be about 2 parts in there. So I usually separate them, and I'm going to come in and just make your horizontal or your diagonal cuts like this, and then come back and mince them out. So very easy. Shallots are, like I said, part of the onion family. They're extremely, extremely potent. So that's why it called for 1 small shallot. So that's why I wasn't too concerned about losing some of mine. Like I said, they're just very strong. So whenever you're cooking with shallots, just make sure that you don't go overboard with them. I actually want to come back in and mince that piece. There were some bigger pieces in there. Okay, now with the shallot, I'm going to go ahead and take that and throw it right here.
Asking if it tastes like an onion.
For the most part, yeah, just really a whole lot stronger. Who was that?
Michael.
Mike, yeah. So Mike, the shallot is, like I said, it's like an onion. It tastes like an onion. It's just really, really strong. So like I said, just bear that in mind whenever you're cooking with them. They have a little bit more of a peppery flavor to them, other than an onion. But it's a really strong taste. So now since we've got all those done, besides our carrots, we'll come in here and take care of this onion real fast. Like I said, I'm only going to use about half this onion because it called for a small yellow. I know this is a white. Hi, Cindy. It's not wanting to cooperate tonight. So if you've got a small onion, you can go ahead and just use the whole thing. Like I said, this onion's just a large white, so I'm just going to half it and use another half for something else another time. So I'll get those bagged up and thrown in my fridge. Always double bag my onions. That way it doesn't stink out my other food in my refrigerator. Make other food taste like it. So there's that. I'll put that away here in a moment. Okay, now back to our onions. So we'll come in here and make some vertical cuts. I'm going to come in here and basically dice this out. Now once we get done with this, I'm going to come back and I'm going to go ahead and probably dice it down a little bit smaller. I just want to get this first cut in and get rid of some of this center part where it's starting to fester and starting to grow. Okay. Now with that, like mincing, I'm just going to come back here and just make these cuts a little bit smaller. Oops. So I'm really excited about the weather. I'm hoping to actually be able to wear a hoodie to work tomorrow. Hopefully I can do that because it's supposed to be cooler. But today was sort of a shock. I was expecting it to be a little bit cooler today than what it actually ended up. It's pretty warm when we walked out of work. Okay, now again, I can put that right here on the paper plate because all this is going to go into the stock pot at the same time. And we're going to saute those here in just a few minutes. So now we can work on our carrots. We're going to take the tips off. Here, bud. Riley's going to benefit from that one. Yeah. Kim says he's going to benefit a little bit more because the carrots go flying sometimes. Okay, now basically, guys, what I'm doing with this is I'm just going to come in here and quarter it. All right. So I've got the 2 halves, and then I'm going to come back on this side all the way through. All right. Now what we can do is come in, level them up, and then just make smaller pieces. Now, Miss Harless was asking, Penny was asking the other day whenever we got to work, because it was the first couple times she watched me, and she was interested about the knives. So this knife set is a really nice knife set. It was from my mother-in-law. She bought it on Amazon. And this is my professional set that I use most of the time. I mean, I do have the everyday use, which is right here. But again, this is the one I usually go to. So it's got a lot of good knives to it. Oops. Yeah. So the next step after we get all this stuff cut up is we are going to melt down the butter into the stock pot, and then we're going to saute this out. We aren't going to add the garlic just yet because we don't want that garlic to burn. So we will be adding the mirepoix before we get to the garlic.
My mom says, you have the best mother-in-law.
Yes. Cindy's giving herself props, saying that she's the best mother-in-law, and I have to concur with that. So definitely agree. Oops. Oh, you got that one, didn't you? Reading an article today that was talking about the positives of carrots, and the one thing that they brought up was that they was noticing that people that ate a lot of carrots actually had more glowing skin once they got under the sun, because the pigmentation of their skin actually was brighter because of the carrots. I thought that was kind of interesting. Plate's getting full. It's my last one, though. What?
Another plate?
No, I just take this one straight over there. All right, the last carrot. I'm going to leave that right there. Oh, hit him in the forehead. All right. So now what we can do is we can come over here and actually turn on our heater, or our heater. We can turn on our pot, and I'm going to go to a medium high. I'm going to go ahead and get this butter. It calls for 2. This is 3. It was just a leftover cut from something we made the other day, so I'm just going to use it all. I can get rid of this now. My trash bag. I can recycle my paper plate. Alrighty. Now we'll get this butter melted down, and then we are going to take the all of our vegetables, which is known as mirepoix, and bring it over, and we'll get that cooked off. So we'll saute that roughly about maybe 5 minutes or so. It's not going to take very long. We just want the onions translucent, and we want the other vegetables kind of tender. And then once we do that, we're going to go ahead and make almost like a roux, because we're going to add the flour in after that and whisk it. And then once that gets incorporated, we'll let that cook for a few minutes. Or I'm sorry, after we get the mirepoix cooked down, then we'll add the garlic to it. And then we'll start adding our flour. Oh, hi, Mom. And then once that gets done, then what we'll do is we'll go ahead and start adding in our chicken broth and then our milk. So that's going to be done over a period of time. We need to take it slow, though. All right. Butter's getting melted, so I'm going to go ahead and grab my mirepoix, my vegetables, and drop them in.
Riley came over for pets, and then he heard you do something.
Riley went over to Kim for some pets, and then heard me drop all that stuff in, and it started sizzling, so he came running back over this way. So, all right. Got that going. Recycle the plate. All right. So mirepoix, the carrots, onion, and celery that we're cooking with here. Not to be confused with the Holy Trinity, which is what we used in our gumbo, which takes out basically the carrots and puts in green pepper. So we're going to let this cook down a little bit, let it tenderize, and let that onion become translucent. And then we'll start adding in our garlic, which is going to be called for four cloves. So I'm going to grab my spoon because, again, I'm cheating. And we've already got our minced garlic store-bought. Very aromatic type vegetables here. If you're cooking with me, you can start to smell those, and they're smelling really good. The chicken, it called for a rotisserie chicken that was deboned. If you've got the rotisserie chicken, what you can do is make sure that you cut those up and dice them into smaller pieces. That way you aren't just putting whole big fragment pieces of chicken in there. Something that Kim and I did for tonight's meal is we didn't get the rotisserie, but we also we had about 4 pounds of chicken breast that we had out in the fridge. So we used them we used not 4 pounds, we used a couple pounds last night in a dish that we made, and we saved out some tonight. So I threw those in the crock pot yesterday morning, cooked them all day while we was at work, and then got home and shredded them up. So made for an easy fix. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take my garlic and add 4 cloves, which is roughly 2 tablespoons. Now, we don't want this garlic to burn, so we want to make sure that we're stirring this occasionally and keeping it moving. We aren't going to cook this very long, maybe a minute, until the garlic becomes fragrant. Becomes fragrant. And once you start smelling that garlic really start getting pungent, then what you want to do is we'll go ahead and start whisking in our flour. So we've got our flour, and again, it's a 1/4 cup. And I'm going to go ahead and take my spoon, and I'm going to set it here on the side because I need my whisk now. Okay, got my whisk. We're just going to basically whisk that in. And again, almost like making a roux. So that is incorporating with the butter. All right, now we've got that. Now what we can do is gradually add in our chicken broth. The reason why we're doing this a little bit slower is because we don't want that flour to gunk up on us and make a paste. So we want it to stay a little bit loose. Oops, I'm dripping on the side. And once you got that in and actually mixed up pretty good, then we can go ahead and pour it in. Using the spoon as a splash guard so it doesn't pop up on me. We've got that in. Now we can stir that up really good. Now since we've got that in, what we can do is we can take our milk, 2 cups of milk, and then we're just going to take that and stir it in. And there is our base. Looking mighty fine. Alrighty. Now, when that's done, what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and add in our salt. The salt called for, what did the salt call for? 1 teaspoon, I'm sorry. 1 teaspoon of salt. We're also going to add in now the 1 teaspoon of black pepper. And again, guys, this is it's the restaurant grind. So it takes a little bit more to get that out. And now we're going to add in our Italian seasoning. The Italian seasoning is going to be at 1 teaspoon, give or take. I know, Cindy, I know. Half a teaspoon of thyme. She's probably upset because I'm not using my measuring spoons. We're going to need a 1/4 teaspoon of paprika. And again, guys, I'm using the smoked paprika tonight because I wanted a little bit extra smoky flavor. Now we've got all that in, so we're going to incorporate it all. Now we are going to leave this up on medium-high because what I want to do is I want to get it to a good simmer. So we're going to go ahead and let that start to slowly boil. So that should only take a couple minutes, especially on medium-high heat. Well, that's getting ready to do that. I'm going to go ahead and start putting some of these spices away. Put our smoked paprika, salt and pepper. Put up our Italian seasoning and our thyme. We'll grab my garlic and put it away. And there. Let's go ahead and grab our spinach, our gnocchi, and our chicken and bring it over. So we will be ready for it. And I need my knife so I can open my gnocchi. I think. Yeah. So now it's open. Oh, awesome. Thanks, Michael. Now, you can find this a few different ways. You can find it in your store in the freezer section. We kept looking in our freezer section and we couldn't find any. So we had to go over to the dry, and this is the dry. You can find it refrigerated, or again, you can make your own. Now, how they get these little rolls is once you make them and you get them cut out and you roll the dough up and you get snakes, then you cut them into these size pieces. And then you can take the fork and actually roll it over in your hand and it'll give you those little grooves. So just a little bit fancy if you want to. A lot of guys, whenever we make them at work, there's so many that we have to get through. I usually just show them how to do it and then we just leave the noodles without the fancy little ridges on them. So. Okay, we're almost there. I'm going to take my soup and put it in the recycler. All right, we are at a simmer. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to turn this to a medium-low. So we've got that on a medium-low now. And then we're going to let that simmer for 5 minutes. So again, guys, with the gnocchi, real easy. We use a big stand mixer. This is my KitchenAid mixer I use all the time. And basically what I'll do is I'll get the potato, I'll cook it, boil it down so it's soft. I'll take it, I'll pill it once it gets cool because, you know, my hands are real sensitive, so my wife says. And then I threw that in the mixer, and I usually dice it up and then throw it in the mixer. And then I add the flour and I add 1 egg, and you mix that up real good with either the dough hook or the paddle, and you get a nice firm dough. And then after that, like I said, I usually take it and I roll it out like kids with Play-Doh, like with whenever you're making a snake, and then just cut the sections up. And 1 potato, believe it or not, will make a lot of, it'll make a lot of gnocchi. So, you know, just all depends on how much you're wanting. And so you just have to make sure that you don't overdo it. So usually with the guy, whenever I'm trying to feed about 20 to 40 guys, I usually use about 2 potatoes. So, and that's enough. Occasionally give this a nice stir. So our next step, once we get done with this, is we're going to add the last of our ingredients. So we're going to throw in our gnocchi, we're going to throw in our chicken, and we're also going to throw in our spinach. Doesn't take very long to cook the gnocchi. If you're doing it at home, basically get you a pot of boiling water, add a little bit of salt, like you're cooking noodles, and throw those in. They're going to sink. Stir it up real good, and then once those start to float, let it cook about maybe 30 more seconds, and then draw it and drain them. So, and then those will be good. So, it usually takes them about 2 or 3 minutes to cook. Doesn't take.
If it takes a certain type of potato.
No. I usually use. The question was, is there a specific type of potato that you need? No, it's not. I would probably use like either a russet or something along those lines, like a baking potato. That way, it like with new potatoes and stuff like that, it doesn't work as well. Of course, I've never tried it with a new potato, but I usually use Idaho or russets. Just the larger baked ones are good. Of course, the size that you get is going to annotate also how many you're going to get out of that. So, yeah, it's really easy. Like I said, doesn't take long. It's just energy. It takes a lot of energy in order to do it because you're rolling it out and all that kind of stuff. So hopefully you guys have been able to go over and subscribe to my YouTube channel, Come Cook with Joe. And usually I try to upload these as quickly as possible. But if you subscribe to the channel, then anytime I do upload one, then you'll get a notification that a new video is there. And you won't miss anything. So come on over to the YouTube channel, Come Cook with Joe. Kim took a really nice picture of me in my chef's jacket with my toque on. And I use that as the profile picture. So
My fourth graders will subscribe.
yes, and Kim's fourth graders subscribe. So if you know Miss Kim, Miss Reffett, and you're on the YouTube channel, I'm glad that you're here. I'm glad that you're watching cook. Hopefully you and your family are learning and cooking together. All right, so this has been about 3 minutes. So for the sake of time, I'm going to go ahead and add our other ingredients. So I'm going to go ahead and add the chicken. Again, this is just shredded chicken. It called for 2 cups. So that was just what was left over from that chicken that we made. So I'm going to go ahead and stir that up. So again, if you use the rotisserie chicken, the rotisserie will probably be a whole lot better than just the chicken breast. So the rotisserie chicken is definitely going to give you a little bit more rich flavor, which will be really nice. But if you had chicken breast, and you got those in here, that's fine too. All right, we're going to go ahead and add our gnocchi. I might use the bowl. Now I can get a little bit closer to liquid. There we go. It's looking really good. And it is smelling really good. Again, if you guys aren't cooking with me, I wish I had smell-o-vision because it's smelling really good. And then we need, for the spinach, we need 4 ounces. Let's see here. Probably just do that with a hand. What is this? Oh, this is 6 ounces. So this is a 6-ounce case, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw it all in. What? You could have made a salad, right?
Yep.
Sorry. Kim's laughing at me. All right, now we're going to go ahead and get this in. If your pot's not big enough, throw in a couple ounces and let that wilt down a little bit. That's why I love my big gumbo pot, because I can get a lot of stuff in here. If it's not that big, go ahead and throw in about 2 ounces, let it wilt down, and then throw in your other 2 ounces. That will be fine. This soup would be really great for a nice fall, winter, or fall day. It's nice and chilly outside. Now again, we're wanting to make sure that spinach wilts. We're also wanting to make sure that the gnocchi gets cooked. It's already cooked, the noodles are. You just want to make sure that they puff up a little bit because you don't want them to be cold. So even when you're at the house, you just want to make sure that they start to float. Of course, here we aren't going to be able to see that, but it's not as prevalent here that they float. Of course, with all the other ingredients, they probably aren't going to. Some are at the top. And then we're going to cook this for about 4 additional minutes or until the spinach really gets wilty, which is what we're starting to see really good now, because we don't want those big pieces floating around, and want to make sure that they're good and edible. Can you see the time, honey? How long it's been?
It's almost 5:30.
No. I mean, how long the video's gone?
Well, it just says 25 minutes.
No.
It's right.
Okay.
Well, you started at 5 minutes, 5:35.
Oh, well, that's true, right? Yeah. Okay.
Until 9.
Wow. All right. I'll go ahead and take those plastic containers and recycle those. Okay. That looks good and wilted. So let's go ahead and get this plated. I've got a nice size ladle, a couple decent sized bowls. Just going to go ahead and reach in here and ladle these out. And there we have it, guys, chicken gnocchi soup. And again, it's going to be good for a warm day. It's nice and steaming right now, and hopefully it's a nice hearty soup for you and your family. I'm going to go ahead and turn this around so we can get the send-off, and then we're going to enjoy dinner. So, hi. So hopefully you guys had a good time tonight, coming in and cooking with Joe. Thursday of next week, I'm off, so it's going to be kind of fun. We'll figure out something to do. I'm sure it's going to be a blast. So if you guys have any questions or comments or would like to see something cooked, you can always leave it right there in the conversation area. So again, next week's going to be fun. Thanks for coming in tonight. Go check out the YouTube channel, Come Cook with Joe, and subscribe. And until next Thursday, I'll see you guys later.